Writing was something that allowed me balance. Speaking to myself really directly, using pen and paper as a device for reflection, made me understand myself in a way that I was understanding other people and the world. I was given the opportunity to perform in high schools, and I just loved it. Right away, I felt like I could talk to these kids. They taught me so much about how adults are not as free and not as smart and so much more complicated than they need to be, and I felt like I was speaking sort of to my recent youthful self, and it sort of just took off.
My job as a poet is not just to create verse, but it's also to create more room for verse in the world around us. I think what brings me to the classroom is that no one ever really came to my classrooms as a young person and really extended the invitation to me to use writing for something other than academic uses, to use writing as kind of a laboratory for exploring emotional intelligence.
Life is that space in between, right? Life is so much love that it hurts. Life is so much joy that you feel pain, right? It's an in-between. And poetry is what allows you to get in between, yo. That's what poetry is.
I'm incredibly inspired writing with youth and by listening to the voices of young people. Frequently, schools aren't able to bring me in more than once in a year or more than once, in a few years, because the resources just aren't there. And so what's different about this context is you have people like the Aspen Writers Foundation who are actively investing in youth voice in the community.
Primarily because people like Merlin Hepworth and Logan Phillips came onto our radar and were such fantastic teaching artists that we realized we could bring them into the schools. We visited over 3,000 students at all of the schools in the valley, from Aspen to Glenwood Springs. Intensive for 2 weeks. They were working all day, every day.
Can't you see that everything counts? Every second, every day, every hour, every minute, every year, every hello, every goodbye, every hug, every friend, every foe, every moment counts. And yes, this, you, yes, me, yes, you, yes, me, yes, we, yes, us, yes, this counts. So help me hold it down.
They're these young, very hip guys coming in to talk about poetry. And poetry is often one of the least accessible art forms to kids and least cool.
Poetry is unfortunately an art form that's wrapped up in all these stereotypes and misconceptions about who the poet is, about what the poet can do, what the poet can look like, what the poet can sound like.
It is hard to see eye to eye y que sí, cada nombre es un coyote lingüístico que me cruce para el otro lado.
Logan is one of the most incredible artists and educators for bilingual youth. He knows and understands Mexican culture, so when he's with Spanish-speaking kids, he can communicate with them because he has a relationship with the same land. I think Logan really provides something unique because they can identify with his experience in a special way.
The work that Merlin and Logan do is really about giving voice to young people and celebrating their voice. To have someone come in who's a true poet is incredibly inspiring to them.
It's a time where they're starting to transition out of being super concrete thinkers, and they still have the courage to try new things and to explore. And with that, some magical things can happen.
We know from a lot of study over the last 10-20 years about what makes kids successful in college, and writing is at the heart of it. If you're not a good writer, if you don't know how to articulate your own thoughts, to express yourself, you're going to have a hard time.
Some students were paralyzed to share anything, and they would fill their notebooks with writing, but it wasn't getting past the page.
There's a million different ways to write, a million different things to write about, but it matters that you write. It matters that you fill up that page with words. It doesn't matter what it is. But if you don't have something on the page, you're never going to have something to revise, and it's never going to go anywhere.
And all you need is a piece of paper and a pen in your own mind to speak. Who's up? Who wants to be brave? What's the first rule?
Be brave.
What you share gives other people strength.
I fell into my past while the rush of it confused me. It all happened quickly. I hit the ground, and when I arose, I soared to travel the sky again, without looking back, but to raise my head forward. Instead of being lost in the desert, I used the stars as my map.
It's incredibly scary to open up, especially when we haven't been rewarded for that type of honesty in lots of places in our lives.
Afraid to put my writing out into the open, gazing at the crowd of just 16 students. My pencil just happens to slip out of my hand, life had taken a toll on me and took my cousins away.
Being vulnerable is true power, it's true strength. Because when you're vulnerable in front of somebody and you own that, and you take ownership over your own real feelings and who you are, what can someone say about you that you haven't already said yourself? Incredible night. I mean, just from the get-go, when you saw people piling into the door.
It wasn't even 6 p.m. yet, and we already had a line out the door of people not only coming in, but people waiting to sign up.
I was blown away at how many people showed up.
Now start until you are absolutely ready, okay? They read their poems on this huge stage in front of a huge audience, and they overcome their fears, you know? It shows them that, hey, guess what? There's a lot possible. There's a lot that you can do.
It feels like a desire to be something loud, but no matter how much you ball your fist in protest and hum, the hum wasn't ever enough to be heard.
Just to stand up in front of a group of kids as a 12 or 13 or 14-year-old and say something that's important to you, that's a skill that they will take with them for their entire life.
They had such self-possession and rocked that stage. I mean, really were impressive.
It takes believing in oneself, taking that risk, taking that act of bravery, and then also just not stopping, just rolling with it.
Poems aren't just words on a page waiting to be read. They're emotions needing to be expressed, needing to be shared loudly with vigorous detail. A raging passion and love and pride for the stories you tell and every word that comes out of your mouth.
When a kid finds his voice, it's good for all of us. And when everybody in the community feels like they have something to say, it's good for all of us.
There's so much talent in the schools here, and there's so many impressive students, and they're gonna go on to do amazing things. It's just exciting for us to get to have one small part in that, to be there along the way.